Hey guys, welcome to Driveway Liberty Podcast. Happy New Year and hope you had a great holiday. We did. We hung out a little bit and had a big time, but we'd like to welcome you, the enlightened, the few, the most intelligent among us, to the cast tonight. I am Wes, and this is my good buddy over here, Dan. Dan, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Good Christmas break. Miami's rolling on.
Yeah.
Things are going pretty good from a personal standpoint. Nationally, we've got
Yeah,
some
it's a
cool
little
stuff
weird,
to
right?
talk about tonight. Yeah.
Well, I bet you're having a big time with that, all that exciting football stuff. Football season ended for me, I guess, about 6, 8 weeks ago.
Well, shit happens.
Yeah, yeah, it does, buddy. You all right? Did you blank out and have a stroke there for a minute?
No, I was trying to fix something on the computer.
Well, if you're just joining us, you've noticed that the title of the show is "Are We at War with Minnesota?" or something at least along those lines. So that's going to dominate the conversation tonight. But before we do, we would be remiss to not talk about Venezuela a little bit. What are your thoughts on that whole thing, Dan?
Well, a couple things. Number one, I understand the perspective of this is a hey Gordon, this is was a law enforcement exercise. They had an active warrant from 2020. Biden didn't do anything, and he's a narco terrorist, so we plucked him out of there.
Well, Biden legit put a $25 million award on this guy.
But didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, it absolutely didn't do anything. But it just part and parcel of when it's the opposition's idea, and we do this as Republicans. When it's the opposition's idea, it's a bad idea.
Sure.
When it's our idea, it's a great idea. When it's our idea, it's a great idea. And then when our opposition adopts it, then now it's a terrible idea that we had in the beginning, which is where we're at with this.
And I also understand the kind of global positioning thought process behind it, where you had a narco terrorist that is making buddies with the countries that are not our allies. Some would argue are our biggest threats, enemies, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And the thought process of keeping their crap out of our hemisphere is no different than the way we reacted to the Cuban Missile Crisis in the past. That we've been known to keep our backyard and our side yard and our front yard clean as a country, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
If we think about it along the historical lines, now I'm not for being actively engaged in regime change. I don't think it's our role to police the world. That's probably part of our problem in Iran right now.
But this isn't new to Trump. I mean,
no, but this is, if we think about the Monroe Doctrine and the Roosevelt Corollary, without getting too in the weeds about the historical significance, those two articles from two different presidents were that we would not allow European expansion, and then the Roosevelt Corollary, communist expansion in the Western Hemisphere. And Gordon's got a good point. If you're not conquering, you're being conquered. But that's what's been going on. Look, everybody praises Kennedy for being great during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The missile crisis would have never actually happened if Kennedy would have grown in his fuzzies before the missile crisis. He was pussyfooting around, and he was allowing that to happen. And the next thing you know, the Soviets are moving nuclear warheads into Cuba.
Well, we've long wanted a leader who wasn't run by politics or, how it looks to the other side, what kind of arguments they can make, and just go do it. What's best for the country. We kind of have that now. We're a version of that.
Well, and we need to define we, because
Our
we,
country, our country has that.
I think the
Whether you agree
normal
with it or
individuals
not,
in this country do
we have it
have
as
one.
American citizens. We have it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about agreeing or disagreeing with it, but what American has not wanted a leader that was going to put the country first and run the nation the way that they wanted them to, with the best interests of Americans. Now they've muddled and made MAGA and all that stuff into a negative connotation, but that's all politics. You just wash that stuff out and do your job. I mean, who doesn't want somebody to be a leader and just do their job regardless of all the other BS?
Well,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
disagreeing.
anybody would be against that, as long as they were doing your version of the job. That's the we and the they type scenario. But
Well,
we finally have I think we have a version of that leader. You can argue with some of the details and some of the things he's done, pro and con. But we actually, I mean, nobody can say that Trump is not being decisive.
no,
And
no, nobody can say that. When I'm poked at the wheel a little bit, it's because you, and I'm pivoting a little bit. I don't want to necessarily leave the Venezuela thing because I've got another point to make. But when you look at leaders like Mandami getting voted into one of the largest cities in the United States, and the fanatical following he has, you have to question what a and I'll say significant, because you can, obviously I think they're still in the minority, but you have to question if a large portion of this country even wants us to be a successful sovereign nation.
well, it depends on how you look at that situation. If you look at it as legitimate and all those people who voted for him are true, actual American citizens, and they've just been manipulated and are asking for things that they really shouldn't be asking because they're just ignorant of the past and don't understand how that's going to impact them. That's one argument. I think that's part of it. I think the
Right.
other part of it is we have literally imported a base of people voting that is here to destroy us.
Well, not only imported them, but we've allowed it. Gordon made a point. He actually just posted this like 28 minutes ago on his page about paying attention to the school board. And his point was that, it is regarding Maduro. You can't fix stupid, but you can certainly make an effort to prevent it. But in order to do that, you've got to control the education system, and you've got to keep
Oh yeah.
stupidity from becoming, because it's a cancer, man. It really is, and we'll talk more about that. One of the things I saw that I didn't have time to get in the cast, and another thing, we're spending so much time on Minnesota, we did not grab a lot of other assets related to these other news stories we're going to touch on before we get into this. But I actually literally saw a video, and I was taken aback, Dan. I was I was I was caught by surprise, because the video was released by CBS News, and it was in favor of the Maduro withdrawal. And how it was in favor is they showed TikToks and Reels and Instagram videos of Venezuelans who speak English. They're either here studying abroad, or they've learned very, very good English.
They're part of the 8 million exodus that left the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were so, one guy even said, he said, I don't care if it's illegal. They just saved our country. Trump saved our country, and we don't need your sympathy, because anything is better than what Maduro was doing down here. And he also said, and another one said this, who cares if the Trump's worried about the oil? What do you think Maduro was doing with it? And these guys have literally been liberated by this one little police action of going in and snatching this dude out of his sleep. The memes are gold.
Oh yeah.
And that's exactly what's happened. They've gone in and snatched this dude out and got him out of there. And that majority of that country, not the warlords or the generals in charge of the military, because they were the ones profiting from the drug industry, are just ecstatic that this occurred, and they have a hopeful outlook on the future because now it's bright, and it's not just from helicopters shooting missiles in the Maduro's compound. See what I did there?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So you take a leader out who's
A
completely
tyrant.
a complete tyrant that murders citizens, keeps all of the wealth with his little collective group. You take him out of the equation, of course, people are going to be happy about that. Who wouldn't?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the people who aren't happy about it don't live in that reality.
No.
So, and they're just playing the BS political games, and it's another situation of anything Trump does, they hate.
Well, it's just like the people ODing on Tylenol because Trump said you shouldn't take Tylenol while you're pregnant. Yeah. Gordon says, here, let me put this on the screen here. We don't need your sympathy. Speaks to the issue with the left. Toxic empathy is the most defining characteristic of the left. It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's selective empathy.
It is selective empathy.
They weren't very empathetic. What's the word? Empathetic. Empathetic when Charlie Kirk got killed for no reason.
No, not at all. So let's pivot a little bit. Let's bring it back home to the States. Speaking of New York, where Maduro is incarcerated, there are protesters standing outside that prison protesting his incarceration while their city burns around them. Because they just appointed, the housing advocate, or what was her title, Dan?
Hold on, let me put it up. I don't want to say this wrong.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Thea Weaver is her name.
Yeah.
She's the director of the mayor's office to protect tenants. And she is a insane activist. She's a member of the Democrat Socialists of America Party, and she actually has multiple tweets, public declarations that homeownership is a weapon of white supremacy. And this guy made her in charge.
Well, it fits his philosophy. I mean, that goes the warmth of collectivism versus the cold frigidity of
rugged individualism.
Rugged individualism, and that phrase has, if we think about it, it has so much meaning. Do you feel like you need an advocate for your housing? No, because you grew up independent enough to handle your own affairs. You don't need mother government to step in and help you do what you need to do. And if it's something you can't do right now, and it's something you want to do, by God, you set a goal and you figure out a path in which to do that.
Sure. I saved money and put a down payment on my house and bought it.
Absolutely. And the warmth of collectivism is not warmth at all. It's a cold furnace that's not working.
Well, just ask Venezuela if it works.
Yeah. I mean, weren't they eating their dogs down there a couple of years
ago? Yeah, eating dogs, eating garbage on the streets, climbing in dumpsters. Like the stuff you see the homeless do, that was the majority of the population. That's why 8 million people fled. Because they couldn't eat. They couldn't eat.
That's what the warmth of collectivism will get you. You know, it's funny. I was in Publix yesterday or the day before, and I wish I'd have gotten a picture. You know, I think it's every Tuesday afternoon they change out those shelves up front, you know, because that's the sale items or the specials or whatever.
That stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I walked in and those were empty. And I immediately thought about a communist grocery store in the Soviet Union. One of my professors, who was my advisor and probably the smartest man I've ever met in my life in college, or in my entire life, he went to the Soviet Union, and he would tell us about it. And he said he said they ate good because he was at the embassy, and he wouldn't tell us exactly why he was there. But he said he walked in one of the grocery stores, and it's like the bread lines is a legit thing. They go in once a week and they stand in line for a loaf of bread and the absolute bare minimum stuff to eat. There aren't choices. You don't have 5 different peanut butters on the shelf. You don't have 6 different breads. You don't have, a billion different chips by 5 or 6 different makers of potato chips. You've got bread, milk, and if you're lucky and you get there in time, you've got bread, milk, and just bare bone essentials. And it's sad that anybody in this country would ever want to model something like that.
Well, they don't think they're modeling it. They've been hoodwinked into believing that it's going to be something different. But logically, it doesn't work. It's never worked. No matter where it is, it's never
human nature is to want to do better and reap the rewards from doing better. Now, if that betterment is art, if that betterment is whatever, they're not going to do it without some form of payback for doing that. You're just not going to do it. That's not human nature. You want more. Our appetites are insatiable.
Yes.
And we want more. Well, that being said, let's get into talking a little bit about this war where the first shot was fired today. Before we show you the videos, we have a couple of videos here. I don't even know if anybody's watching right now, but that's okay.
They will.
They're watching rebroadcast.
They will.
So, all right, we have 2 different angles of this video. And the argument from the left is, well, dude shot her in cold blood for no reason. That's the argument. This is a screenshot, and I've got it circled. That is an ICE agent standing right there, and the vehicle that this lady is in is between this. You can't see my cursor. I'm sitting here using that like you can't. Between that, I believe that's a GM product in the front, and then it looks like a Nissan pickup truck behind it. Her vehicle's between those 2. Let's watch the video from this angle.
She tried to run over.
Sorry, Dan.
That's all right. It's clear. It's clear she tried to run over him. You can see him being pushed back by the front of the car.
Yes. Well,
move off to the side.
We can see that right here in this video.
Yeah. Yeah.
This next one. All right, all right, let me pause it. They are telling her, they were giving her a legal, lawful order to get out of the car. And she is refusing to comply. Let's say that, because that is so accurate. Matter of fact, let me back it up so everybody can hear it. I'll turn the volume up a little bit. There is language in this video.
She's actively evading law enforcement.
Yes. So listen to the ICE agent right here. No! Okay, I'm going to turn it down because language gets rough. Now watch what happens. All right, there is an agent in front of the car right now, along with the agent beside the car that's telling her to get out.
Oh, shame! Shame! Oh, my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck?
All right, so I'm not going to keep playing that. Now, I think did you ever send me the picture with the bullet hole in the front?
I don't know if I sent it, but there's a clear screenshot of the bullet hole in the front corner of the windshield on the side where that ICE officer was. So yes. The narrative that he shot her as she was driving away through the side window is not true.
That is absolutely not true.
He shot her through basically shot her in the face through the front.
Yeah, because she was continuing to move towards him and also attempting to evade or resist without, or actually with violence, if you think about it like this. It is obvious to anybody who is not completely and utterly biased against ICE agents that this woman was trying to run that dude over. If she wasn't trying, she was playing chicken and hoping he would get out of the way. That's not the way law enforcement works.
Well, you know, this is literally a direct result of all of the crap that they have been basically telling these people on the left to do. They've publicly promoted it. Get the F out of my city. I mean, ICE, we don't want you here. It's not just Minneapolis. It's been multiple other cities where the leaders, the Democrat leaders of those cities, have encouraged public protests that turn violent to impede ICE doing their job.
Yes.
You've been promoting it. Then you add in.
They were hoping for this.
Then you add in the money that's being flowed in there, a lot of it through Act Blue.
Yes.
Act Blue actually has a online store where you can buy these signs. Like you can order signs for these protests on the Act Blue store. They have a website. So they're promoting, and they're not promoting it because of they care about the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that are being moved out. They're promoting it because this is a color revolution, and they're literally trying to take down the United States of America.
Yeah.
And when violence happens, they're happy about this. This is what they want.
Well, think about this. I mean, if we bring this down to a more personal level, you're in a bar fight, or an argument in a bar is escalating, and and there's a cop standing over in the corner. The cop's watching, and he's telling everybody to calm down. But if you can get that other dude to hit you, you know the dude's going to jail. He's going to look like the bad guy. So you are just talking smack. You're talking crap to this guy, trying to entice him to hit you so that cop will take him off. On a much larger scale, that's what's going on here. Yeah. They are provoking these officers in hopes that stuff like this happen.
Well, look what's happened all over the country. They've thrown bricks through the front of their cars.
Yeah.
I mean, they have thrown objects at the actual ICE agents. There's a video where some guy came up and tried to grab the firearm from the ICE agent, and the ICE agent shot him in the face.
Yeah.
With tear gas.
Well, but that's also adds to the narrative. When you see, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but when you see the aftermath PR campaign is what I'll call it. Mm-hmm. When you see that after something like that occurs, you hear, "Oh, ICE agent shot this guy in the face." You don't hear why he shot him in the face or what the context of him getting shot in the face was. They try to manipulate and twist the facts of the situation and leave out convenient details to make it right. Now
you got a video of the mayor doing.
We'll get to that. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, let's look at Trump's response to this, because you and I kind of took issue with this a little bit. So I just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator. Now, I don't disagree with any of this at this point. And the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, which there was one to this, which basically is what we've showed you, it is hard to believe he is alive. but is now recovering in the hospital. Now, this is where I part ways with this statement. The guy's okay. He got bumped. He may have a bruise. And he did seem to be limping just a little bit after the situation.
Sure, you get hit by a car in your thigh, you're going to limp.
Yeah. He got him a nice little hematoma bruise right there is what he's got. It's no different than getting hit on a football field.
Well, this is just an exaggeration that is absolutely unnecessary.
Absolutely.
It's completely unnecessary to add any spice to this at all.
No.
You don't exaggerate, you don't add things into it. You just let it sit on its own. Everything up to that point was fine.
Yeah, he could have left there at,
and if he didn't get out of the way, she would have killed him. You say that, and that's all real.
And that's factual.
But you're saying you can't believe he's alive and he's recovering in the hospital. Makes people think that she did run over him and he's clinging to life in the hospital, which is absolutely untrue. This is completely unnecessary.
This reminds me, my very first sales job when I was trying to make a living after quitting music in my early 20s. I had a sales job. And the instructor said, "We do not want you to lie. We want you to glamorize the truth." And I'm like, well, that's a lie. You know, you're overinflating the facts. You can spin facts or leave out or conveniently leave things out or conveniently over accentuates things that are there. But when you glamorize the truth, which is what he's doing, that guy they may have required him to get checked out, but he's not in the hospital recovering. He might have gone there, gotten an x-ray to make sure he didn't have anything broken, and he's out. That guy was walking. Now, I know adrenaline does a lot of cool things, but the dude was all right.
Yes, it's obvious in every video clip that he got out of the way and didn't get run over. He got bumped by a car, which, hey, it hurts.
Yeah.
But see, this, like, you're just, and maybe Trump just doesn't care at this point, but you doing stuff like this doesn't add to your argument. It just gives them ammo to use against you.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And they'll take this out of context and say, "Oh, he said," you know. Anyway, let's.
They already did. I mean, you should see the comments.
Yeah, it's probably ridiculous.
Yeah, and whenever I see a tweet, well, this is a truth like this from Trump, I always go, because I have a True Social account and I follow Trump,
Yeah.
so I always go to his account and look to make sure it's real. And because a lot of times they make shit up and they do fake ones, but he actually absolutely posted this. This one's real.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But speaking of glamorizing, leaving out facts, or manipulating the truth, let's see what the Minneapolis mayor said about this situation.
Collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis.
No, you haven't.
Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city.
No, they're not.
What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly.
All right, so we've already showed you the video. And if he watched the video, he was taking a freaking nap while he was watching it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. It's obvious that the truth, they do not argue with reason and facts. They argue with emotion, and they count on the people that they're influencing being stupid, lazy, or not caring about the reality.
His audience is not people who will go out and actually seek out that video.
And everything he said in there, where he said they're not here for our safety, they're here to cause chaos. No, you are the one causing the chaos. You're the one telling your people to go out there and protest. You guys are the ones that are paying people to go out there. You know where this lady was from? She's a lesbian from Colorado. She's an activist. She's got a LGBT flag in her bio on her profile. I don't know which social media site, but I saw the picture. She's from freaking Colorado. She came here.
She went up there to just incite.
Well, I don't know if she was paid to go up there, if she's a true believer or what, but she was there to protest. She was following them around and getting in their way for a long time. This wasn't just some lady who pulled up in her SUV. She was following them for a while, videotaping them videotape's the wrong word, recording them with her phone, trying to get bullshit that she could use on social media. And she got in their way. And then finally they had enough and said, hey, get out of the car. You're impeding our investigation. And bam, you know what happened.
And let's be clear. These guys are up there to enforce a law.
Yeah.
And people it's a misdemeanor. It's a law. But as a result of that misdemeanor, they continue. You can't drive 100 miles an hour down the interstate.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Keep doing it.
Let me ask you this question. You could, even though it's categorized as a misdemeanor, does the open border and the influx of that many illegal aliens in a short period of time make our country better or more safe or less safe?
You know the answer to that.
I know. So stop. And this is the other argument where they're like, this is a misdemeanor. So they take all the other context out of what all of this has caused.
No. What they're doing is
illegals
dismissive language.
Has caused a massive amount of issues for the United States of America. It's caused election fraud. It's caused violence. It's caused people to be killed. It's caused all kinds of issues for the safety of Americans. Now, ICE is finally going out there doing their job, and they're saying, "Oh, they're rounding people up for misdemeanors. They're
up here
separating families.
They're not here for safety.
They're not separating families.
They're not.
No.
It's not even misinformation. It's just flat well thought out spin and PR. We're talking about protesting. This same mayor did this at a protest. That's him right there in the what's up with them pants, the California roll from the 80s.
Soy boy.
And he can't dance.
He's your mayor.
He's not my mayor.
Minneapolis. He's this guy. You elected this guy. He's a clown.
Yeah.
And then he tried to act all tough. You know, what was the other one we didn't see it? You haven't shown the video where he says, ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
No, I don't have that one.
But he says that. You saw the one. You showed the other one. But he actually says, ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. So Soy Boy's trying to look all tough in front of the cameras. And he rolls up his jeans. I mean, this is absurd. The guy's like, you elected this is the people you elect.
Well, but let's think about who's happy about all of this. Who is the most ecstatic that this is going on? Our buddy, Tim Retard Waltz.
Yeah, because it's a huge diversion.
Oh, yeah.
Order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over.
So let me say something to that effect. He is presenting that as if the National Guard is going to fight against the United States military. The National Guard take the same oath that anybody that goes in the military takes, which is to uphold the Constitution and to defend the American people in both foreign and domestic issues. But it also is taught they have to take orders from their commander-in-chief. Tim Walz's authority does not supersede that of the president in regard to the National Guard. In state emergencies where he calls them up, he is the commander. However, what he's doing with this right here, and he's hoping for, that there will be an actual military conflict between the Minnesota National Guard and the United States ICE, and eventually
federal law authority or federal.
Yes. He is hoping and praying for that because he has been busted. You know, he announced Monday, I think it was Monday or Sunday, that he would not be running for re-election. Well, no, because it's kind of hard to do that from prison.
Yeah. Well, put Gordon's comment up there. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because this is 100% true. So if they actually did, if the state National Guard went to war against the United States federal law enforcement or military, it would absolutely be an act of insurrection.
Absolutely, it would be.
And at that point, Minnesota would no longer be Minnesota. It would, all these people would be dead or in jail.
Yeah. And
in Guantanamo Bay, not in freaking Southern District in New York jail. It'd be
as Tim Walt's words, the school teachers and the business owners that are fighting in the National Guard, who are weekend warriors, if that's the case, then it becomes an insurrection. They will be going up against guys who do it full time.
Did he not see Rambo?
I don't know.
That
did he not read about the
Civil War for the National Guard?
So, speaking of, I mean, it sounds like we're inciting his language. Listen to what he said right here.
Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that the National Guard is their main mission.
So, as somebody who grew up in the South, we were at war with the federal government, and it didn't go very well. I'll tell you that, as much as I hate to admit that as a Southerner, and it hurts my Southern pride to even say that out loud. You are one state, dude, unless you're going to get Illinois involved and Michigan. I think you
better get more than that involved.
Yeah, you better, because, you know, I mean, we've got more military bases right here in the Panhandle of Florida.
And let's be real. This is nothing but posturing. This is complete BS. He has no intention of getting the National Guard to go in there and kick ICE out of the state. No. He's not going to do it.
He's a desperate man, though, Dan, so you can't rule it out.
Well, I guess I'm not ruling it out, but it's literally not going to happen.
Well, I mean, I hope you're right, because, all right, look, regardless of that lady's background, the Colorado woman that was killed today, it's a sad thing that she got shot.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely terrible that a human lost their life. It's worse that the rhetoric coming from her side of the aisle is what's caused that.
Yeah, it's not the ICE officer's fault. It is the people who have promoted putting her there in the first place, who have incentivized and or inspired her to drive freaking, I don't know, how far is Colorado to Minnesota? It's a few states, so it's a nice little trip.
I mean, that's like 1,000 miles, dude.
Yeah, so you're driving a third of the way across the country to go take part in a protest that will have no impact whatsoever on any of it. and you're driving around in your truck, videotaping, trying to, mess around with ICE, and they finally had enough and said, get out of the car. And what happens? You try to run them over and you get shot.
Yeah. That's not cool.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
But I say that he's playing misdirection and he's a desperate man. This is why. There's a little bit of
Mr. Balu. Again, thank you for being here. Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somali.
And nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here.
Go for
it. Again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working-age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems...
So his argument's like literally semantics.
Yeah. He's like, well, they're just as Minnesotan as the rest of us, and I get that take. You want to defend people who live in your state, people who are going to vote for you because you're a Democrat piece of shit. And I'm getting mad.
Well, it's ridiculous.
It absolutely is ridiculous. It is.
It's clear.
The point that he's making is that these people have not assimilated and they are mooching off of this system. I don't care if they've been here 10 or 15 years. After 10 years, 78% of them are still on welfare. You couldn't figure it out? Only half of them speak English well enough to function.
I just don't understand how you
assimilate. They are here to take over. And they said as much.
How can you be on government assistance for that long? I mean, you have to qualify.
You think. You would think. But, Dan, we've learned that Tim Walz has known about all of this. All the fraud and everything. Let's watch, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. Honorable Robbins, based on your record before your committee, when did Governor Walz first become aware of widespread fraud in Minnesota social service programs?
I would assume that he has been aware of it since he ran for office for governor in 2018.
By 2017.
Since 2018. What's the math on that? 7 years?
7 years.
When he was running before he was
the 8th year.
Before he was even governor, while he was running.
AP fraud could exceed 50%. What was that information elevated to the governor's office?
Yes, there was an OLA report.
Thank you, ma'am. By 2020, state officials knew feeding our future invoices were fraudulent. We know that payments continued to the AG's knowledge. Did they continue to the governor's knowledge as well?
Yes.
Attorney General Ellison agreed on tape to fight Minnesota's own Department of Human and Health Services in exchange for Somali political and financial support. In your personal opinion, do you believe it is a possibility that Governor Walz also made that personal deal, or that he at least knew about the Attorney General's agreement?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't want to rehash what you guys have spent hours answering. We know that there's a big issue with the fraud in Minnesota. So on a number of things, I'd first like to point out, thank you for being here today, but because of your testimony and because of some of the evidence that we've seen brought forward, as well as I'm sure the fact that this committee, I assume, at Chairman Comer's direction, will be soon subpoenaing AG Ellison, I would like to make criminal referrals regarding Governor Walz as well as AG Ellison. As you know, U.S. Code 371 and U.S. Code 2, which deals with criminalized conspiracies to defraud the United States and establishes liability for individuals who knowingly aid or abet the commission of federal offense, includes willful blindness or deliberate inaction where duties to act exist. So I will be referring them later on.
So that's pretty much end of it. Well, I want to point out something before we discuss the content of this. She's got her Xena Princess Warrior sweater on, the leather sweater. She came to battle, dude. She came. She was coming to take names and kick ass is what she was doing. And she was all out of names at this point. She was ready to kick ass.
All right. So this goes back. Obviously, you said that she said 2017 when he was running. This is all pre-COVID stuff, and this is all was exasperated by all the extra money that was put in during COVID. So there's actually people that have been convicted. There's an organization called Feeding Our Future. They billed the government 18 million meals and delivered zero.
Right. So
they bought real estate, luxury cars, like a Porsche. The lady bought a Porsche.
Yeah.
Jewelry, and a lot of this money was sent to overseas, to Somalia.
In suitcases.
So 100 people have been charged. Like, this isn't new. This has been going on for the entire time that Tim Walz has been the governor. So in 2021, they suspended the payments because whistleblowers were coming forward. So they stopped paying. Right. So then the lawyers for these fake nonprofits started filing lawsuits and screamed racism and all that stuff. They had a meeting with Keith Ellison when he was running for Attorney General of the state.
Yeah.
And they told him that they were not going to have his support and he needed to stop this stuff. So then the payments continued after that. And there's records of multiple campaign donations to his campaign. Like, these people are criminals.
No, you're absolutely right. And I agree with Gordon, what he said right here. I'm glad they're asking hard questions and make them look like clowns, but it's not enough. We need to, we need to be dragging people out in the street and locking them up and indicting them, putting them on trial, public trial with cameras, OJ style.
This is the issue. We've seen private citizens be held accountable for these things. Obviously, 100 people here have been convicted.
Ted DiBiase, you remember him, the $1 million man from WWF wrestler? His son is being indicted in Mississippi right now for something very similar to this. They were taking welfare monies and nonprofits and misappropriating them. And like several higher ups in the Mississippi state government have been arrested. Ted DiBiase Jr. is on trial starting, I think, tomorrow.
But how many public officials who have one of many of these things either helped promote and make this happen, provided interference, or profited and took money from it, how many of them have been held accountable? None. That's why it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a politician, you are protected. You might look bad in the public forum, but none of these fuckers are in jail. And that's the problem. And that's why so many American citizens, like this one, are so pissed off, because you could fix this pretty quick if you started locking people up.
Oh, real quick. Hey, we don't need more committee meetings.
No,
We
this is
need
great.
armed
This is
individuals
great.
with law
Okay.
enforcement authority to show up and arrest somebody.
I want Keith Ellison and Tim Walz perp walked. I want to watch the trial on freaking national TV. Just like it's better than OJ.
Yes.
Watch the trial on national TV and freaking watch them get sentenced to jail and walk in their orange suit with their leg irons and their handcuffs, go to jail and say, this is what's going to happen to you if you defraud the American citizens.
Yes.
When that happens, this shit stops, or a lot of it does, or they get more sophisticated to hide it. It's just not out in the open. Like you got Nick Shirley going, the daycare thing is a fart in a windstorm. It's autism centers, it's Medicare fraud, it's feeding the children, it's all the shit that you would donate to because you're a bleeding heart. Not a bleeding heart. You're just a
charitable individual.
Charitable individual. You care about the kids. And if you try to shut it down, well, you're stopping kids from eating. None of the kids had anything to eat. They didn't give them the money. They did not buy the meals. They're lying. All of them.
They're stealing from the kids. That's the narrative. They're stealing from the kids.
Well, I don't even think there's kids even in the
There's
equation.
not. They're stealing
not.
from the
They're
American
stealing taxpayer monies. And these Somalians are living in Minnesota on our dollar for their entire freaking lives and taking half of that money through these bullshit schemes. I mean, I read something. There's 1,200 medical transport companies in Minnesota. 1,200 different companies. Ambulance companies, medical transport companies.
Yeah.
1,200.
That's a lot.
People have looked, they have vehicles that have sat and not moved for a year. Like they're literally stealing money all day, every day. And when you bring it when somebody whistleblows, the person in charge says, oh, well, they called me a racist and they threaten us with lawsuits, so we'll keep the money flowing.
Well, that's what they're trying to do now. I don't know if it was fake or contrived or what. There was a Craigslist ad asking for help supposedly from one of these daycare centers and saying that the white supremacists are trying to shut us down. They've cut off our funds. They were doing a crowd fund of some sort, and they were hiring children. $1,500 a day.
They got videos of like 12 and 15-year-old kids walking in and out of these daycare centers that don't exist.
Yeah. Oh, the Learning Center, the Leering Center's shut down today, by the way.
They spent all that money to fix the sign and they're shut down. Oh.
That's crazy how that worked.
Yeah, there's no kids in these places. Just like there was no meals delivered to them. Just like probably the majority of these 1,200 medical transport companies do not transport anybody for medical needs.
They've never transported.
Like it's all lies. And the problem here is when you don't root out the fraud, I'm sure there's real, honest to goodness organizations in here that are probably getting shut out of the money until they can figure out what the hell's going on.
Right.
So advocate for them. Actually help them fix this so those people can get the money.
That's what needs to occur, Dan.
There's no logic. I mean, this is the part that drives me crazy. There's no honesty. There's no integrity. There's no logic to literally our entire political system.
Well, you're right. You're right.
And it's the most frustrating thing I've ever been a part of in my life. Because you can't fix any of the problems. They're impossible to fix because the people who we need to fix them are lying pieces of shit. Dirty, being manipulated, gutless, no integrity pieces of shit. There might be a handful that are good.
You're right. You're right. But instead, this is what's going on. It'll take me just a second to get this put up, but let me do this real quick. You can still keep talking.
might have a freaking heart attack aneurysm here at the same
Well, let's
time.
not do
This
that.
shit drives me crazy. 1,200 vehicles that haven't moved in a year, and they're getting money for them. And you know where the money comes from?
Us.
Yeah. We're getting taxed out the ass, and we got to pay thousands of dollars a month for our health insurance. And they're still taxing us between a normal person between 20 and 30% for federal income tax. You add in the states where they have state income tax, you add that to them. Some are about 6%, some are higher, like New York.
Right.
And then you have municipalities that charge you. And then you have, like New York City's got a city tax. And then you have sales tax, you have permits. I mean, just we actually are taxed somewhere around 60% of our income, one way or another, through permits, through licenses, through all the different taxes and the uses taxes we do. I mean, you sell your car, you buy a car, you pay taxes on it. Then you sell it, the person who buys it from you pays taxes on it again.
Yep. And then you continue to pay taxes on it every year when you get your tag.
Yeah.
That brings me, I'm going to tease this. I think we'll talk about this next week because we're about to run out of time. I actually had kind of as a secondary topic for tonight, there is a movement. It's a tax protest where some sides are saying don't pay your taxes at all this year. And then there are others, and this is probably more realistic and a viable way to do this, are saying go to your employer tomorrow and tell them to withhold nothing from your paycheck. And then take the money that you would normally pay for taxes, invest it in a short-term instrument that pays interest, and keep that on hand and just pay your taxes all in one lump sum next year. And what that does is the government, they rely on that regular tax flow, especially the first 9 months of the year.
It also completely changes the psychological dynamic of the amount of money you pay in taxes. When it's taken out of your paycheck, before you actually see any money, you don't feel it.
Right.
When you have to pay it at the end of the year in a lump sum, oh boy, it's a totally different experience.
I promise you, I've known that pain for about 30 years now.
Oh yeah. Well, when they started the withholding from paychecks, that's when they really.
Well, it's invisible compliance is what it is. It's kind of like the same thing with the health insurance premiums. It comes out of my check every week, so you don't realize the cost of health insurance. You don't realize the cost. You don't even realize what your employer is contributing to that same health insurance.
Yeah, go open a small business. I promise you realize
you
that.
will. Yeah, that's the dang truth. But this video came out about an hour ago, and I didn't know if we were going to be able to squeeze it in. This is at the federal courthouse in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right now, or it was. Let me say that.
Are they saying ice out now?
Yes.
You know what would happen if one of those windows broke? You would see automatic gunfire and a whole bunch of people.
I think they actually break in. And that's what the headline said. That's the only reason I haven't stopped it yet. It being a federal courthouse.
This is what you did, Mr. Fry, soy boy.
They just broke the window.
Yeah, the guy pulled him away. He's like, don't do that shit. We're all going to get shot.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't you learned? Like, you pose a threat, they're going to shoot you.
See the little toy boy barely hitting the glass right there.
So you look at this, and this is just another situation where they're hoping that something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whistle's just, I mean,
That's why they got it, Gordon. They're trying to entice you into punching them, buddy.
Could you imagine being somebody there that actually was protesting for real and cared about what was going on and wasn't getting paid? I'd have broke the whistle off in somebody's backside too.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, I probably slung it around his neck. I remember a Halloween party where a friend of mine had his whistle. He was dressed as a ref.
To be fair, that friend of yours was pretty inebriated.
Well, fortunately for that friend, everybody else seemed to be as well. So.
That's true.
And having a good time.
Legends are made, brother.
Right? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, we've got a big year planned. We're going to be doing we actually are working on a documentary right now. Well, I won't tease any more than that, but we're working on a documentary related to Walton County, Florida. And that is a good way to get shot by ICE.
Collecting evidence as we're doing our daily work.
Yes. We are collecting information and data, and we want to be fair about the scenario, but we're going to address a very hot topic that's probably going to get us run out of town. But we're going to be fair with it, and we're not biased in this. We just
that. I ain't going anywhere.
I ain't either. But I'm just saying. It's probably going to make a lot of people mad if it shakes out. We're not going into this with any particular slant, but so far it's not looking good.
No, the narrative is not.
Yeah. Oh,
Jerry, Happy New Year, buddy. That was my old neighbor in Trinity before I moved here.
Yeah.
Jerry and I have killed a few brain cells together.
I got you. Nice.
Back in the day.
And I'll tell you, I had a conversation with Mongo earlier this week. I'll tell you about when we get off the air.
Cool.
Anyway, guys, that's the show tonight. Stay tuned for next week as we'll talk about this tax thing. We'll talk about this protest, and we'll talk about if it's viable. And there are some negatives that can occur if everybody were to do that may not be pleasant. So anyway, guys, Dan, you got anything else to add to this?
No, good show. Thanks. Thanks for everybody for listening.
Absolutely. And be sure to share it with your friends and let them know that we're right here back on the air. So with that being said, for Dan, I am Wes. I'm not we-totted. I don't know if you saw my thing earlier, but we'll see y'all next week on the Driveway Liberty podcast.
You are